I want to tell you a story. Once, when I was stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, I got a call from my mother. She called to inform me that my grandmother was sick. And since I was stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and my grandmother lived about, I would say, about 75 miles, I would want to say northeast of Fort Bragg, my mom asked me if it would be okay for me if I had the time off to go down and check on my grandmother. Now, my wife at the time drove. We both drove down to do this, and when we did, I found my grandmother was very sick, and so I asked my wife if she would stay and watch my grandmother just for a few days until my mom could get there. At any rate, I turned around after just a couple of days because it was on a Saturday. I want to say a Friday, I believe. And I had to be back at Fort Bragg by Sunday. I believe I was on a jump that day. And so I turned around and headed back to Fort Bragg. Now, all the money I had, which wasn't much, I left with my wife. I think I kept about $15. I I filled my tank up and I headed back to Fort Bragg. The drive was probably about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. But about an hour into the drive, and it was getting dark, I found that my car it was starting to stall. And I pulled on the shoulder, and I was on 95 North at the time. I pulled off over to the shoulder, and the sun was setting. And I remember getting out of my car, and I didn't know anything about cars. I don't know a lot about cars now. But I got out of my car and I raised the hood, like people do, like they're gonna find something or they're looking for something to fix. I had no clue what was wrong with the car. I was very worried though because it was getting late and the sun was setting, and I had to get back to Fort Bragg, and I had no idea what was wrong with the car. At any rate, I tried to flag people down out on 95, and I'm telling you, it was very, very sad. No one stopped for me. No one would stop for me. And so I started walking. And now it was getting really, really, really dark. And I left my car on the side of the road. And so I started walking, and started walking. And I probably walked for about an hour before I even came to the next exit, off ramp. As I got to that off ramp, someone did pull, as they were pulling off the off ramp, they did ask me and offer me a ride into the next town. And the next town was a little place called Kinson. I believe it's Kinson. And so I get there and I find my way to this gas station, which is right off the exit. And it's really a really little old, dilapidated type of gas station. Nothing fancy. Just, one of the ones you would see in the South back in the day. And I believe this was like in 1984, 1985. So I go up and remember now, I only have about, I believe, $15 in my pocket. And so it's getting dark. It's cold outside, and so the gas station is getting ready to close. And so I walk in and ask a guy if he has a tow truck available, and he tells me, yeah, he does have a tow truck available, but he says, and I tell him my situation and where my car is right off the exit off of 95. And he tells me it's going to cost me, I believe he said $25 or $30 for them to go up and get my vehicle. So I didn't have $25 or $30. And so what ended up happening is there was this little old guy. I guess he was like he helped around the gas station. A little old guy. He had to be 65, maybe 70. And he saw me. I guess he could see the worried look on my face, and so I explained my situation to him. He went inside, and when he came back out, he told me he had talked to the people and that they would actually tow my car for free back onto the gas station from off on 95. I explained to him that I was a soldier, and I guess they just felt like that would be a cool thing to do. So they sent the tow truck driver up on 95. I went with him, and we towed my car back. And even though the guys were getting ready to close, they took a look at it and they told me, "Look, your alternator is bad." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, the alternator is bad." And I'm like, "Wow, how much would a new alternator cost?" I think they told me it was about $55. Whatever it was, I didn't have it. So I was like, "Wow, I don't know what I'm gonna do." I mean, I really got to get back to Bragg. Uh, uh, I was just really, really in a bad way. So they had at least done that for me, and I was grateful. Uh, so they closed shop. They left my car there. Oh, I know what happened. They told me, look, this is what we can do. We can charge your battery. What's happened is your battery is worn down because your alternator is bad. What we can do is we're going to close now, but we can charge your battery in your car overnight, and that should give you. If you don't cut your car off tomorrow morning once you start it and it cranks, you should be able to get back to Bragg, okay? And I said, okay, what I mean? But they had to leave, and so I had to leave my car inside the shop, and they hooked it up to a battery charger. So now my dilemma is I'm still there and I gotta wait till tomorrow morning. So I'm really, really in dire straits. I'm walking around. These guys are gone. And the little old man, I'll never forget, he comes back to me and he said, look, I'm really sorry to hear about your situation. He said, I have a little place right up over here, just a little ways down the road. If you like, you're welcome to come to this place and stay with me overnight or while you're waiting on your car tomorrow morning, to be ready for tomorrow morning. I had no choice. So I took him up on his offer. We walked for about 10 minutes and we get to this little place. And honestly, it looked like an actual shack. That's what it looked like. It was really a shack. It was a place that I guess it looked more like a storage place than anything else. But once we got inside, he had a potbelly stove. I never forget that. And he had a little bed, a little single bed, and he had like a sofa. I mean, you could hardly turn around in this place, and there was stuff everywhere. But and he had a dog. And I remember him saying, you're welcome to stretch out on the sofa, and you just make yourself at home. And this guy, man, look, he lit the potbelly stove. It was something like out of a movie, and he had like a can of beans. I think he went somewhere, like off to the side. And he pulled out a couple of cans of beans, and he had a little pot, and he put the can of beans on the stove. And I was hungry, man, and really, he prepared these beans, and I think he had a couple of beers in the refrigerator, and so we ate those beans, and we actually we had just one beer piece, and before I knew it, I drifted off to sleep. The next morning, he woke up. I heard him actually. He woke me up because I was still asleep. He was getting the little stove to get heat inside, and he said, "Look, you need to wake up." I told him, he said, "Man, your car should be ready." So we walk over to the gas station, and that's when times were really good because to charge my battery, they only charged me like $10. I don't even think they charged me $10. I think like $7 to charge my battery overnight. And they told me when I got there, they were ready. They said, your car's ready, so you can go. And I got in my car and I cranked it up, and I'll never forget the guy telling me that the attendant at the gas station, I guess he was like the manager, said, look, whatever you do, don't cut this car off once you crank it, man. Get on 95, get up there to Fort Bragg, but don't cut this car off because you're running off pure battery power. So that's what I did. You know what I mean? I cranked the car up. I thanked the little old man, and I hit 95 and I headed to Fort Bragg. And I made it back just in time. I would say about 30 minutes shy of a jump manifest that I was on. I told my wife about the story after she came back home after a few more days after my mom got back to Fort Bragg. My wife would come back to Fort Bragg and visit me. I mean, to stay. And I thanked her, and I told her about that story, you know what I mean, and how grateful I was to meet up with not only the people who helped me out at the gas station, but the little old man who didn't have much, but offered me, he made an offer for me to stay with him in his little place, and it was warm, and I think he held a blanket, and we ate the beans, and we had a beer, and that was one of the most generous acts of kindness that I've ever encountered. You know what I'm saying? It really was. Ironically, about 2 or 3 months down, I think we'll say 2 months down the road, me and my wife were headed to Washington, D.C. And as we were headed south on 95, I saw the sign for that little town. And I told my wife, that's the town I got stranded in. And I said, look, pull over, pull over. She's like, no, we really got to get on down the road. I'm like, no, just pull over for a minute. I want to see if this guy is at this gas station, right? So we pull off at that exit. We pull into the little gas station, and I pull up, and sure enough, I go inside, and there's the little old man sitting in there, just sitting down in the gas station, what I mean? I guess just, doing what he does, helping around the gas station or whatever. And I was so glad to see him. And I told my wife, look, is it okay we just chill here tonight? You know what I mean? And I don't know how it all transpired, but we ended up getting a hotel room. right off the exit. I told the little guy, look, man, I really appreciate what you did for me the last time I came through here. And me and my wife, we got a room over here, and we want to invite you to come over to the room tonight, man, and I want to buy you dinner. And that's exactly what I did. And he was very, very happy. We sat up all night and talked. And I remember him leaving really, really late. And the next morning, me and my wife, we got up and we headed on to D.C. And that was a really, really great feeling. And I felt really, really good about being able to do that for him. And I tell that story all the time because I have very fond memories of it. And it makes me reminiscent of people who do good deeds and people who who extend. And if you ever get a chance, extend to somebody, do that, because you never know how when you may be in a situation where you may need that type of assistance, help, or whatever extended to you. I thank God for for putting that guy in the right place at the right time. And I just wanted to say that there are truly angels among us, and you don't have to look very far to find them. And maybe today you can be a blessing to somebody. I just wanted to get that story out. I know it went on and on, but as is Marlon. And as always, I want to wish you wisdom, peace, and prosperity. And remember, there are angels among us, really. At the bottom of this video, there's a link. Hit the link. There's always something nice in the links at the bottom of my videos. And I just think it's going to be something you may be interested in if you're thinking about earning some extra money from home. As always, I'll see you on the next video. Bye.